I would continue hanging out here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. We are here at the ACC American Century Championship, the tournament here in Lake Tahoe, and a great spot to be each and every year that we get to come out here. And one of the mainstays that is out here each and every year, it is Joe Theismann joining us here in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Joe, what's up? How are you, sir?
I am wonderful, thank you, and it's always great to be on Championship Radio. It's very hard to beat. It's you becoming as much of a staple out here as I am.
I mean, I guess, yeah. It's like we come out here to the American Century Championship, Chiefs win the Super Bowl. We come out here to the American Century Championship, Chiefs win the Super Bowl. We come out here to the American Century Championship. They lost in the Super Bowl. We come out here to the American Century Championship. They win the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's been an interesting 5 years for this Chiefs team.
And then top it off last night in our karaoke contest, Travis Kelce wins that, doing Whitesnake. I mean,
where do you think that ranks in the year for Travis Kelce that he's had? Is it 1, 2, 3? Super Bowl, Taylor Swift, acting gigs, winning the karaoke contest.
Keep in mind, football is a team sport. And, of course, Taylor's unbelievable. By the way, just an FYI, I think it's great with the two of them. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for both of them because they both have tremendous professional lives. They're both at the top of their game. She is incredibly creative, incredibly talented. Travis has proven to be the same thing. Just, they're both infectious. Their personalities are so infectious. I mean, you see them, you're going to watch them. You hear them, you're going to listen. And so for me, I think it might rank up there really high because it was all him.
That's true.
Of course, the band. I mean, Jay DeMarcus and his band are unbelievable. And so I think it's one of those really high one up there because the team is a part of it. And that's everybody contributes. But when you're on stage by yourself with a microphone in your hand and all you have is the band behind you, ooh.
Trophy on the mantle. That's right up there.
Another little platform.
And then he wins the trophy and says, "This one's for you, Taylor."
I loved it. I mean, that was like, I want to know where he's going to put it. I mean, is he going to put it near the Super Bowl trophies?
Right.
Where's he going to
hand it to Taylor. He hands it to Taylor.
Taylor, look, I can sing too.
He sets it right next to her Grammys.
It might get lost with all of them, though. It might just get lost in the wash there.
I think it's a...
Well done.
Yeah. So Dylan, you're talking about like when Dick Vermeil would wear a Super Bowl ring at the podium and somebody would question anything and he just, as he was answering the question, he would tap the Super Bowl ring on the podium as in like, I kind of got this ring here though. But no, it's a good point that you're bringing up that I hadn't thought of at all as a Super Bowl champion coach.
Or the other thing you do is when people ask you a question, you say, I wear my Super Bowl ring on my right hand. Just run your fingers through your hair very slowly. You just sort of run it through your hair. Right. Well, that's an interesting question. I'm not quite sure I want to answer that.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's a win, not if they get married and move in together, and then they'll have that room with all the trophies. And I think
they'll have a house.
You put it right there.
Not a room.
It's a good point.
Trophy house. Between the two of them, they would need it. It's exactly right.
They would need a trophy house. It's a mother-in-law's quarters, but it would be just for the trophy house. And you would have that right in front. Like my wife is the athlete in our family, and so she's got a bunch of trophies. And in 5th grade, my 5th grade basketball team won the league. And all of her trophies are there, and then there's one small trophy right in front. Right in front. That's mine. That's
properly placed.
Exactly.
It's most important.
Thank you.
What is the first thing somebody's going to see?
That one.
Your little trophy.
And here's the thing. Her trophies, individual awards. Oh, female athlete of the year. Oh, back-to-back female athlete of the year. Whatever, right? I mean, come on. That's a team sport right there. I did that as a team. That's being a teammate, okay?
Your rationale really, they fly with some people, but I don't think it flies at home.
It does not. It does not fly at home at all. Joe Theismann is our guest. How you playing right now?
I'm working on. I've got a few things injury-wise I'm working through, but my left shoulder's always been an issue because I have a staple holding it together, and obviously if you're a right-handed golfer, everything starts with pulling down with your left and staying in the shot, and that's where I'm struggling a little bit. But these 3 days are just. I'm looking forward to it so much. I've got my son Patrick on the bag.
That's awesome.
And it's he's back again, so it's a ton of fun. It's the whole thing. The American Century Championship is so much more than just celebrities playing golf. For example, American Century, the investment company, gives away over 40% of their net profits to the Stour Institute for Research in Kansas City. You know, anybody listening out there that's in business, picture 40% of your net profits being given to charity. You know, that's what makes this tournament special. We've raised over close to $8 million for charities here in the local area. You know, and of course we lost the Wakefields this past year, and it's a great tribute. You know, our hats are, you know, have the number on 49, and so it's more than just a golf tournament. It's a great social event. Obviously, the karaoke, everybody points to this. Everybody wants to see who's going up there. And Alfonso Romero always puts on an unbelievable show to close.
He's as talented as
he's as talented, and he's a heck of a golfer. Yeah. But man alive, I mean, you sit there in awe of these people. I've always wanted to be able to sing. Oh, God, did I want it. My mother and father used to make me sit in the front pew in church because they figured the only person I could insult would be the pastor. Because if I was sitting in the second row, the people that ahead of me would turn around and go, what's coming out of your mouth, man? I mean, gee, you can't sing a hymn? So, but anyway, I always admire people with music.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun watching that last night. And the tributes last night to Tim and Stacy were phenomenal. And, you know, and he was a mainstay out here each and every year. And
played with them a number of years.
Yeah, karaoke was his night. I mean, they loved that night. Every year you knew Wakefield was going to be up there.
Oh, for sure.
Singing. It was cool, some of the tributes that were going on. Joe Theismann is our guest. What do you make of what the Chiefs have going on there in Kansas City right now? And back-to-back Super Bowls, they've won 3 of the last 5, and they talked immediately after the second Super Bowl of going for a three-peat, and Travis Kelce said that, you know, last year's Super Bowl he wanted more than the first one, and then he wanted more than the second one, and the next one he wants more than the third one. That seems like a foreign concept to me, but the more and more we talk to professional athletes that have won a Super Bowl, the drive grows and the hunger grows even more to win another one once you've been to that mountaintop.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is to fight complacency, because so many of us as young football players, the dream is to be able to, number one, play in a Super Bowl, but then win a Super Bowl. Well, what happens when you're at the top of the mountain? No, everybody talks about climbing the mountain to become successful, but nobody talks about what happens when you're at the top of the mountain. How do you deal with it? We've seen Tom Brady do it so well.
Yeah.
You know, Troy Aikman. You know, Terry Bradshaw, all parts of teams, but yet you have to have that quarterback to be able to be successful, and Patrick's the best in the game. And, you know, the expectations for the Kansas City Chiefs should be this. It's not going to be a perfect season, because it never is. So you're going to have your ups and downs, and who's going to make the plays to make a difference? For example, people talk about, well, Patrick didn't have quite the year that he's had before. I disagree with that. The fact that they dropped 35 passes through the course of the season contributes to what the quarterback is doing. But at the end of the year, when it really counted, the guys that needed to step up stepped up, and Patrick just continued to play his game. He's sort of like the anchor that holds that whole thing together. And then you look at the Super Bowl, the first half. Travis catches 1. Travis catches 1. All of a sudden, the second half, what did he catch? 8? And what happened to that offense? Certain things drive an offense. Andy Reid, to me, I'd love to see him just go in the Hall of Fame now while he's coaching. Why wait?
We've seen that in basketball, like Bill Self, John Calipari.
I know.
Coach K. I know, but I mean, we've seen it happen. But he absolutely is that guy. I mean, he's the best in the game.
He's
right
the
now.
glue that holds everything together. I mean, Andy has such a great way with his players. Everybody talks about a player's coach. It doesn't mean that you're soft. It doesn't mean that you let them go do whatever they want to do. What it basically means is you toe the line. You know, and he's brought people. You look at Andy, you know, with Michael Vick in Philadelphia, Tariq, you know, guys that have sort of people have questioned at times.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're unbelievable contributors. And believe me, I think the Chiefs without Tariq are a different football team. Just like without Travis. I mean, there's 2 very important parts of that offense. Obviously, right. Patrick is a given, but, you know, they're 2 very important parts of the offense. Now, Tariq might be sitting there going, hey, with Jefferson getting all this money and all these wide receivers getting all this money, and now I'm not at the top, I'm not telling Kansas City to pay him that money, but he's worth it. It's worth whatever you want to pay him.
Well, and you mentioned that combination of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Like, there are some marriages, and then there are some that are just soulmates.
I felt that way with Joe Gibbs.
Really? Okay.
The relationship that we had. I mean, the thing about a play caller, as a quarterback, you have to understand not what they're calling, but why. When I was in broadcasting, I developed a what-why philosophy. Your eyes will tell you as you watch television in any sport what's happening. The announcer's job, the analyst's job, is to tell you why it happened. So from a quarterback coach perspective, coordinator perspective, I know what the play is going to be. But why did you call this on 2nd and 8?
Yeah.
Why did you call this on 3rd and 6? If we get 5, are we going to go through it on 4th and 1? Those are the conversations that people aren't really privy to, and it's very difficult for people to understand. But it's the what and the why that makes such a world of difference.
Yeah, and it seems like he sort of just gets it. He understands the what and he understands the why.
He knows Patrick, and Patrick knows Andy.
Absolutely. And you mentioned sort of like having that guy that can take you over the edge and, winning Super Bowls, et cetera. It is a team game, certainly. The quarterback is vital and so important. We've seen that. In the Super Bowl against the Bucs, they were out of it, and whether it's the offensive line or other things that went on in that game. But in the 3 Super Bowl wins for the Chiefs, after the third quarter in those 3 Super Bowl wins, the Chiefs have had 9 offensive drives. They've scored 6 touchdowns and 3 field goals in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it's adjustments.
Yeah.
Joe, that's another thing. Joe was, I would say, like Andy in that regard, the ability to be able to adjust at halftime. And the Super Bowl they lost against Tampa, let's not forget that Patrick wasn't 100%.
Yeah, it's true. He had the turf toe.
I mean, he had it affects you. Mm-hmm. It affects you a lot. And he's not going to come out, but it's still he wasn't able to be himself. And it's just like me with my golf swing. If you've got something bothering you, so I tend to hit the ball a lot with my right hand. That's why I don't hit it so high, because I'm afraid to go do something with my left. Mm-hmm. And so if you're injured as a quarterback, if you got a tweaked toe or a foot or a knee or something, or the shoulder's bothering you a little bit, you're just that little tiny bit off, and that's all it takes in our game. The margin of error and the difference in the game is so small with the players that we have, the athletes that play this game. If you've got somebody nicked up, it's going to affect them. And I think in Patrick, to me, I thought their defense played great football.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Kansas City has managed to really put together a great balance, offense and defense. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd have 4. Would have had 4 if Pat was healthy.
How much
I just you had a really interesting conversation the other day, and I want to get your thoughts on this because some guys think the preseason is really important, some don't. I know you had some comments saying you don't think Jaden Daniels should play in the preseason. What goes into that thought process there?
The fact of the matter is, first of all, you draft him as number 1. We don't have a quarterback in Washington. He's going to be the quarterback. You put him out in a preseason game and he gets hurt. What kind of flack do you think Dan Quinn's going to get? And Adam Pearson. They will attack the organization like it's never been attacked before. But on the other side of it, he has no game experience at the professional level. So I'm saying he'll go out on the field. I think the first 2 preseason games are on the road for Washington. You'll go out, play a quarter, hand off a little bit, run a little play action, get the ball out of your hand, go sit down. The problem with preseason being cut back from 3 to 2 is how is a coach going to be able to evaluate players, free agents, rookies, newcomers? You can't evaluate guys in shorts and T-shirts because you don't know their heart. Why do you mark my words, first 2-3 games of the season, watch how many balls are fumbled because running backs are going to get hit and the ball's coming out because they're not used to it. Now they want to go to 18 games. If I was the Players Association, I would say, I know you want to charge a lot of money. I know the NFL is going to continue to make eons of dollars of money. But what kind of product are we going to put on the field? 65 quarterbacks played last year, guys. Now you go to 18 games. I think it's you take away the preseason games. So to me, the first 2 regular season games of the season are glorified preseason games. If you've got somebody going down to Miami and play, Washington goes to Tampa and play, it's going to be 95, 100 degrees, huge humidity. How are you going to keep your players on? You can't get conditioned to play and get hit and push people around unless you really can do it. And we have such a limited time in training camp today. I think there's like 17 days of training camp. I used to go to camp on the 4th of July. We had 6 preseason games.
Yeah.
Now I don't think you should get rid of them completely. I think I think you put the players at risk, to be perfectly honest with you. I think to me it becomes a health issue.
Well, and the preseason thing and training camp is really fascinating from the Chiefs standpoint because Andy Reid is considered more old school with his training camp. Like anytime there's a free agent that comes in, the first thing they talk about is, I haven't had a training camp like this. Like this is different. The pace, how quickly, the reps they get in, everything is structured and specific, and Andy Reid knows what he wants. And I think it's one of the reasons why the Chiefs under Andy Reid have gotten off to great starts all the time. With Patrick Mahomes, I think it was year 4 before he lost his first game in September. And I think
you can do that with a veteran quarterback.
Yeah,
you can do that with a veteran team because they'll keep the pace play moving along, in and out of the huddle, in and out of the huddle, in and out of the huddle.
Yeah,
and they throw a ton at you. You know, you can't be stupid and play our game. I mean, the installation meetings are like you're getting 10, 12 plays a day. You're getting 10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon.
I saw Chase Daniel do a breakdown on YouTube of a one-play install. One-play install. And
how long did it take?
It was about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
With all of the different, well, if the safety comes down here, then this guy's going to go there. This is what your read is on this one. But if they switch out to a cover 2, then this is what you're going to be looking here. And it was just like, that's one play.
And then you put your then you put your modifications of the formations.
Yeah.
Same play, different formations, you'll get a different look.
Yeah.
Go through the same scenario again.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you could spend an hour on one play.
Yeah.
In installations on the NFL just for people to understand.
It's unbelievable.
But you don't have that.
Yeah,
I'm not smart enough for that.
And seeing like quarterbacks, it's like, well, he's learning a new offense. Well, he's going to learn a new offense. My goodness, like that was one play, and that's where to me, that's where like people think of genius and brilliance, and they sort of think of whether it be book smarts or business smarts. I mean, there's a genius in football.
It's interesting too from a learning standpoint.
Yeah.
Some people learn differently.
Yeah.
Like for example, some guys, if you put a play up on the board, they visually understand it. If you put it in a playbook to them, they really have a difficult time comprehending it. So one of the key things for coaches is what's the comprehension level of the players that I have? Are they visual learners or are they book learners? And then you have to sort of modify your teaching process accordingly.
Yeah. And you got to hope that they are learners as well.
I'd love to spend hours with you guys.
I know you got to go.
Listen, lots of luck to everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here again. Thanks for the support of the American Century Championship. And you know, like I said, for us, it's a labor of love. This is my 34th of the 35 years, and it's an honor to be invited back. And it's a pleasure to see you guys again. And who knows, next year we may be talking about lots of same stuff.
Yeah. Joe, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate it. There's Joe Theismann.